time now for the dinner portion of our dinner in a movie, but we're skipping the main course and we are headed straight to dessert with a twist.
Sounds like a good idea. Now, there are two things you may not think work together. Making it happen, though, U of I student chef Danielle Saubert teaching us to make black bean brownies. And that was the first thing that happened. I came in and I said, are those beans, really?
Yes,
and they are. Mm-hmm. So where did this recipe draw from? What's your inspiration for black bean brownies?
Well, actually, I'm a dietetics student at the University of Illinois, and so a lot of my pull when I work with food is just making it a little bit healthier. And so these aren't considered necessarily healthy brownies, but they are definitely, a little bit more guilt-free. So
what makes them more guilt-free if they're not healthy?
Well, what we're doing, we're actually taking out the butter from the recipe and replacing them with a can of black beans.
Well, and beans have protein, right?
They do.
So there's that element too.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more protein, a little bit more fiber, and so it's going to add a nice density to the brownie, making it a little bit more cakey, and you actually won't be able to taste it because there's so much cocoa powder in this recipe. It's like
okay,
insane.
So you may not be able to taste it, but will your guests be feeling it later?
You definitely.
I would be nervous.
That's actually a benefit to this recipe. One thing that's really interesting with desserts, usually they're so light that your brain just is like, I want more and more and more. Because of the fiber and the protein in the beans, it actually makes your body sense, it's full.
Okay. Sorry, I just have to initiate you on your first time.
And by the time the guests go home, I mean, they're out of your hair.
Exactly. You know, like the musical friends. Come on now. Okay, so let's get started on these brownies.
All right, so what we did, we already prepped our pan over there. That's just got, the only butter that we have in this recipe is just, along the pan, coated with some flour to make sure that it doesn't stick once it's all baking.
Okay.
So next thing we have to do is actually puree the beans. So what we did, we just have a 16-ounce can of black beans. What we did was rinse them to make sure that all of that goop is off, so that actually really minimizes the black bean flavor.
Oh.
So
probably gets rid of that, like sodium and stuff, maybe?
A little bit, yes, definitely.
Okay.
And so we're going to add just a little bit of water to get back a little bit of that liquid without that extra juice. So I just want to, this is a hand blender. You can go ahead and just use a regular blender at home because not a lot of people have these. I was waiting for that.
That's what I get for asking her that.
Hey, we were joking before. We're like, are we going to get messy today? Look at all this stuff.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Unfortunately, this thing doesn't have an autopilot, so you just got to press the button the whole time.
So
I'll hold it this way. Okay.
Now, would you ever substitute the beans? Would you do another kind of bean for the black bean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Any kind of bean that you want, it's a little bit more mild, is totally okay.
All right.
I don't know, because some people maybe don't like the flavor, some people don't like the color. So you'll see this is kind of like purplish looking, but
it kind of blends in with the regular brownie.
It does.
Baked out.
Well, I'm doing this actually. You can go ahead and crack the eggs into that bowl.
I can do that. All of them?
Yep, all four.
Okay.
You're so gentle. When I do it, I bang it and I get the eggs all over the shell all over the place.
It's called skill, Matt.
Oh, I'm right.
Cramping over here.
Totally kidding.
No. I was going to say, I'm not going to contradict the cupcake. My goodness. So, all right, so we're adding what?
Okay,
4 eggs
four
to
eggs.
this.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Ooh, I can smell those beans.
You can smell them right now. It's all right, but you won't
I'm
smell
not
them
going to
later.
get nervous.
All right, so you can go ahead and just whisk up the eggs. And once that's all ready, we're going to just add in both of the sugars. We have a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar.
All right.
And
I recognize those.
You do.
Right. I'll let you dump them in.
That's good.
All right,
I'll
here we
keep
go.
stirring.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
We'll
Yep.
We're a good
going
team,
to
Matt.
town, yeah.
Oh, now we're a good trio.
Good trio.
right.
Absolutely.
All right. So in
Now
it goes.
this smells better.
That's my favorite part of cookie dough or any cooking process is the butter, sugar. Maybe not so much the eggs. You don't want to spoon that out.
Right. Okay,
Fair enough.
now
So that's
what?
going to town, and we've got a couple other selections
All right.
over here. This looks like flour.
That's a half a cup of flour. We have a cup and a quarter cup of cocoa powder. So that's actually kind of add a bunch of flavor in there that'll
So add that
disguise. Yes, everything.
All
So
right.
we've got
And this is a cup and a half, a cup and
a cup and a quarter.
And in go the beans. The bean mix.
Everything all at once, actually.
okay.
So
I'll continue to stir.
Yeah, get to it there. And some salt.
Do they make these at the Bevere Cafe?
We do, actually. We had a dietetic student, I think, last semester who did it as her test recipe.
Did you tell people it had beans in it when you served them, or did you pick them out?
No, we did. But
try my brownies.
You know, it scares people initially, but once you taste them, I promise they'll probably be a favorite.
Well, so sorry. Sorry. So I should be a little gentler with the cocoa mix.
Yeah, that'll go all over the place.
I'd help you with that.
Yeah,
that might be inappropriate for a 4 o'clock show.
Thank you for that, Matt Metcalf.
Sorry. All right.
Okay.
So you'll see it just come into nice.
They're a lot
there.
cleaner at the Bevere Cafe, too.
Probably. So we're going to stir this up, dish it out in here, and then bake it for how long?
Well, depending on what kind of pan will depend. So this one, it's a 9.5 by 13. You can actually bake it at 300 for about 20 to 25 minutes, just because it's a little shell. It'll spread the dough out a little bit.
That's good.
Okay. But if you wanted to do a 9 by 9 like in the recipe, you want to go for more like 40 minutes.
Okay, we're going to do this. We've got the recipe actually right now online. If you want to make these, you're going to stick around so we can try these out.
You're working up a sweat here.
Yeah, stirring away.
All right, we're gonna keep stirring, and then